Good morning. It is the big day, Thursday, July 9th, 2026. It's about 7:30 and I'm headed off to the Department of Motor Vehicles in Los Gatos. I just got the paperwork last night from the medical social worker, Anthony. And so, I need to get a placard, handicap parking placard for the rear view mirror. And looks like hardly anybody's on the road. That's good. Expected more, but maybe I'll get to see it. So anyway, hopefully get a placard today. Just to kind of give you an update about Susie. She's been a reluctant participant. I think not saying definitely no, but not happy. Not a happy camper. And I'm the one that's doing most of I'm the caregiver trainee. So it's transfers from the bed to the chair and the chair to the bed and the car, or the chair to the car and car to the chair. I did have my big final exam yesterday to see if they felt confident that I could safely put her in the car and take her out of the car. And this isn't just putting her in and taking her out, but it's using the proper technique that is both safe for her and safe for me. And I failed. They don't say that to me in those words, but that's how I receive it. I failed, and it kind of reminded me of when I was a teenager, had my driver's permit, and taking the test at the Department of Motor Vehicles, and failing my driver's test twice. I had to go back 3 times to get a driver's license, and I think what happened for me as a teenager is, I wasn't fully looking in each direction in a real attentive way or intentional way. And, I was looking, but it wasn't like it was, I guess, dramatic enough, significant enough. I'm not saying they were wrong, the instructors or the test people at DMV. It was kind of a wake-up call. So this is kind of like that. That's what I was thinking yesterday. And then this whole DMV handicap parking placard thing comes up, and I go, wow, kind of coming full circle and going back to the DMV. Yeah, it's weird. My mind's doing weird stuff. So anyway, Susie, she's been more active. Her bowel movements are regular. Met with the doctors yesterday, and I talked about that. I said, listen, you're giving her meds here in the hospital to facilitate this. And I noticed the prescriptions the other day, I wasn't picking up anything for that. And they said, yeah, that's normal. We just want to make sure it's flowing here. And I said, I prefer to do it through diet, proper hydration and good fiber in the diet. They agreed with it, and I said, something like Metamucil or Psyllium kind of product as a backup if we get a bump in the road, rather than running out just straight to pharmaceuticals. And they agreed with that. And then I kind of painted a picture that I was told recently about being able to go for brief walks or go to the store for a short period of time, in conjunction with a communication and camera system, like a Ring camera for inside the house as well as outside. Inside Susie's, in the bedroom. And they kind of hemmed and hawed and said, well, you really should wait for a little while, kind of get your rhythm at home, see what is going on with her and how much care she needs. So it might be a couple weeks before you could do that. Okay, so that was kind of a bummer. But, you know, I want to be real with this thing. So, the house is in various stages of, I'll call it chaos. I've tried to make it look as neat as possible for Susie. The bed's made. I have the sheets on it. I don't have a blanket on it at this time because she's been, for the most part, not using a blanket during the day. Have it available. Susie did graduate about a day and a half ago, or maybe 2 days ago, to even larger food. So she started out at the Mince and Moist, which is like kind of a baby food texture, maybe a little more coarse, but not much. And then she graduated to something called bite size, which is about 3/8 of an inch by 3/8 of an inch kind of cubes. And now I forget what the term is for what she's on now, but she went to almost regular sized food, I guess. You know, she as long as it's soft enough to cut with, well, she's using plastic utensils, so you can't apply too much force with plastic utensils. But I think her preferred utensil is a spoon. You know, for things that you would normally eat with a fork and kind of stab it with the prongs of the fork, she's scooping it with the fork and kind of balancing it. So I think a spoon is probably better. And so the other day, I forget which meal, I think it may have been, I don't know if it was dinner or lunch, but she got baby carrots, which are like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. Now they were cooked carrots. But still, she had to deal with it. It requires a little more chewing, and she's able to deal with all that. Well, yesterday for lunch, she had like grilled the chicken breast, and it came as a whole breast, not cut up or anything. It was a boneless breast. And I asked her if she wanted me to cut it up, so I cut it up for her. You know, cutting something up requires 2 hands. Or at least I think it does. You have a knife in one hand and a fork in the other to stabilize it while you're cutting it. The chicken seemed a little dry to me, but I didn't tell her that. I just wanted to see how she reacted. And then I asked her after. She ate a fair amount of it. Asked her after if that was a little dry, and she said yes. Normally she likes things like chicken thighs and drumsticks, which tend to be a little more juicy, not quite as dry as breasts. So she graduated there. That's a good thing. Yesterday, they tried giving her whole pills, which she's been on whole pills, but it's whole pills with applesauce. So like you have a spoonful of applesauce, you put the pill on top, and you put it in the mouth. And yesterday they were giving her a pill in a teeny little like paper Dixie cup. She, you know, put the cup to her mouth and get the pill in her mouth, and then take a swig of water. And, you know, sometimes it took her more than one try, and, you know, she was opening her mouth for the nurse to see, was it there or was it gone? And in one case it was still there, so she had to take another swig. But that seemed to work without any major issues. I bought a big thing of applesauce at Trader Joe's, thinking that was my vehicle. This was several days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. So I was prepared for that kind of deal. So I could see little by little they're inching her more toward, I would call, normal in some respects in terms of eating and pill taking, that kind of thing. She seems to be taking her blood pressure and her cholesterol. They didn't give me a prescription for the thyroid because they said, hey, you said you had a big supply, so that's true. So I'm just curious to see what the cost of thyroid is here. I don't know if I can get that for free through Better Health. If I can, great. If not, I'm just curious about the price of thyroid compared to what we can get it for using our friends that coming back and forth from Mexico. Let's see, what else? Oh, one of the discoveries, I think, with the whole getting Susie in the car, doing the transfer, is we have leather seats in the RAV, and which is slick, which is kind of a bad news, good news thing. It's good when you want to scoot them in, or change their orientation, or push their butt back to the back of the seat. Sometimes they're on the front edge or more of the front of the seat. So that makes that easier. But the downside is when you're trying to get her into the car and the seat is high for her. So like in some cases, she's sitting on the very edge of the seat. And if she leans back, which is a common response, you think if that's going to help you, it does just the opposite. It turns the seat into a slide, and all of your center of gravity is going downhill. So if you lean forward, which is counterintuitive, most of your center of gravity stays behind you. So I think it's working together. Susie learning to trust me learning to do it more efficiently and effectively, and have awareness of her weak foot. It tends to kind of bend under, and the ankle could be hurt that way. So it's covering all these things. So anyway, I'm on Los Gatos Boulevard, a couple blocks from the DMV. So we're going to wrap it up. I've got some guy that was referred to me that has a van for wheelchair transport showing up because I'm not okayed to do it myself. And, we have an appointment for a doctor on the 20th. I have an appointment with Social Security on Monday for getting approval to be Susie's, legal representative. So I think that's about it for right now. I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for the support. Love you guys.